Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm very excited to have Betty Wishart here. I met her a few weeks ago. We've had a lot of fun talking about the work she's doing, um, and the composing she's done. A little bit of background about her. She studied piano with Richard Bunger. After earning degrees in piano performance from Queen's University and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, she pursued studies in both piano and composition in New York City. Since her music was first published, her music has been formed in France, Germany, Greece, Italy, England, Russia, South Korea, throughout all the United States. She's been receiving awards from American Pen Women, American College of Musicians, Composers Guild, Broward County Music Teachers Association, special awards from ASCAP. In March of 2016, Ravello Records released Piano Sonorities, a debut album of her piano music. It was quoted as being utterly beguiling collection of piano music. Then she had Moods in November of 2020, and then just an exceptional piece. We'll actually have some excerpts from that today. And other recordings were released by Navona Records, Sarton Records, and Phasma Music. And she's still composing onwards and upwards and doing great things. So very excited. Betty, welcome so much to our show tonight.
Thank you, Andrew. This should be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited about it. We've had a lot of prep going back and forth. The hardest part was picking out what not to play because there's so much wonderful music from you. We had to pick out what don't we play, and even now we're going to still struggle with some things. I'm going to cut short some pieces because I want to fit a lot in. But tell me a little bit about when you were a child. What was the music world to you? How were you exposed to it? Were you from a musical family? Give us a feel for your introduction to music in the world.
Uh, my musical family, if you, their instrument was the radio. You know,
Okay, they
on
play
the
that well.
yeah, no. So I was not from a musical family. It was really, I got started in singing in church choirs, at
Hmm.
about age 4, and then began piano at the age of like 6.5.
Oh.
And so from there, we really didn't have music in the schools pretty
Mm.
much. I think the 6th grade had a music teacher, and that was great. So everything was really private,
Hmm.
or, through the church.
And were you going through a typical classical piano curriculum as a kid from 6.5 or whatever?
Oh, yes, it was. uh, and it was classical. I was told that if I played any popular music or did anything other than what was on the page, that I would be excused.
Oh no. Oh jeez.
So that's
So
not to say that in high school that I didn't,
yeah, of course.
yeah.
And what was the seminal moment in your life when you thought, I think I could dedicate my life to this? That's a big decision.
Well, when you mentioned that I studied with Richard Bunger,
Mm.
that's really it. When I went to college, it was anything but music.
Hmm.
The chairman of the music department was assigned as my advisor, and he didn't take no for an answer. It's
Hmm.
like, okay, doesn't matter. You can say you're not a major, but you're taking all of the music major courses. Uh, Turns out I was assigned to Richard Bunger, and after, a year and a half, it was like, oh, this is it.
Wow. So going into college, were you not 100% committed to music yet?
Oh,
What was your major back then? What were you
well,
thinking?
oh yeah, I had played, all the competitions and everything, performed, and performing was fine, but it was just it was not challenging.
Hmm.
Well, it was different when I got to college.
Wow, I bet.
Younger was definitely he definitely challenged me, and
Yeah.
that was when it made it interesting.
I
But
have to
I
tell you, a lot of kids, I'm sorry to interrupt, but a lot of kids, when they talk about their piano lessons and having to perform, they absolutely hate it. It sounds like you gravitated to, or you felt comfortable performing then, huh?
oh oh I live for performance.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it was in your blood, whether hereditary or not. It sounds like you really got into it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. Just give me the stage, and that
Hmm.
was.
That's great. And so when you went through college, then it became pretty clear that was going to be a career at that point, because then you started to study, and you got serious to New York City, and it got, a lot of other exposure to, I'm sure, amazing people along the
Right,
way. Yeah.
everything, and did some touring when I was still at Carolina. Uh,
Hmm.
and did that. So
Now, when did you first start composing? Was that in college or after or before? Or...
no, I did not compose until the spring semester of my junior year.
Hmm.
And it was all again from Richard Bunger, who
Hmm.
he was saying that he was leaving, and that was it. And I wish I could write this way now, but uh, long story short, I woke up, you know, whatever early morning hours, like 2 a.m.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
got manuscript paper, uh, and just wrote down this small suite, which is actually on the Piano Sonorities. It's called Illusions.
Oh,
I wrote that down, and to this day, there has been no erasure. I even had the titles,
wow.
and that was it. So that was my first piece, and
Now,
it
Betty, you say 2 a.m. Is that a standard modus operation for you? Is that how you compose at 2 in the morning?
um well, I often get up and practice then, or not necessarily.
Wow,
It depends, but
good for you.
that was
I,
inspiration.
I know my wife does that. She'll get up at 3 in the morning and go do Tai Chi, and she's so driven by it. She loves it so much that
Yeah.
she'll give up sleep for it. I'm always impressed by that. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I have to admit a few more people in the waiting room here, so let me just do that at this point. And let's
Sure.
start. I want to start with preludes. We'll start and end with preludes because I think it's one of your very beautiful collections. You want to talk a little bit about the concept behind it?
Okay, it's really to give credit to people who had excelled in their particular area.
Hmm.
So there are eight preludes, and it's a combination of women and men, and it's from all different fields. It's from entertainment, from literature, from
Hmm.
explorers. We even have one from Winston Churchill, you know,
Mm.
and of course, then you'll hear a dancer, later on.
Yes, wonderful.
And of
Okay,
course,
so this is preludes. I'm going to just put this on the screen. Bear with me for 1 second here.
called Atmospheres, and I wrote these in a collection, or prelude, excuse me, in memoriam, in memory of famous people. The first prelude you will hear is in memory of Audrey Hepburn. She was a British actress who became famous for her role in My Fair Lady, and also later in Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I think of her as being elegant, classic, and nostalgic.
Beautiful, just beautiful. Now, this next piece I'm very excited about. We won't play a lot of it, but it's the Toccata number two. Do you want to give a little prelude to that before I play it?
Well, the toccata, that was just me having fun.
Oh my God, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's literally, I just wrote that at the piano, and um, it, just fun.
Yeah. Now, who's the woman playing this in this case?
Uh, this is Jerry May Astolfi, Dr.
Mhm.
Jerry May G. Astolfi.
I love the fact that she's memorized it, so she's really committed to this, and it's just a wonderful piece. So here we
Yeah.
go with an excerpt from Toccata number two.
Mhm.
Brava! That is an amazing tour de force. Oh my God. So, how do you write something like that? I just have to ask you that, are you sitting down just playing with ideas? You let your hands kind of discover things for you? I'm just curious how you go about doing that.
I
Sorry.
literally was just playing, just trying out the sounds, and then I I play it, then I write it out by hand, come back,
Hmm.
put it on the computer, but just try to remember what I write.
Yeah, and then do you play it into the computer, or you're not writing it note by note, I hope, or are you?
No, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I still write everything out if
Do
it's
you
time.
really?
I do,
Wow.
and then I put it in the computer.
I have to
So,
admit, I'm kind of lazy. I found this group in England. I just send them my recording and they give it back to me, and then I just edit it.
uh,
So, but they probably would get a lot of notes wrong in that one. That is really impressive. So it's a
yeah,
lot
that
of fun.
would be nice. I mean, for some of the others, when I'm doing like brass quartet,
Hmm.
that I can do some of that just on the computer, just straight in.
Mm. Hmm.
Um, but I'm just so geared to the piano that
Yeah.
even after I've written it, and it's for other instruments, what I hear is I go back and play, even if
Mm.
it's for whatever string quartet. I play it on the piano
Wow.
and hear it, that, for
That's how
sure.
you do it. Yeah, because it's interesting to see how different people approach it. So, and by the way, I just one more aside. I feel so bad that we don't have that video because it's so wonderful. It has you on stage presenting it, and there's in the background is the picture of the person. It was just a perfect thing, and so I'm really upset. And sure enough, it's still working. I can't find it, so I don't know where it went. But I will put it in the archive so folks you can look at it later. It's really a very nice video, and my apologies again. So this next one is called Isoliste, which is basically I got that all wrong. I thought it was solstice. I guess I must have some dyslexia, but it's basically a solo dancer. Is that what that is? Basically,
Okay, isolisti, it means the soloist.
the soloist. Okay,
So
the
it
soloist.
was these five musicians that were in Europe. That's where it was written for the International Composers
Ah,
Symposium. So
okay.
they were just meeting each other for the first time, and so when you did, it's several movements.
Hmm.
So it's this is the part, just an excerpt from the final. Uh,
Yes.
but it's quite different because if you're not speaking the same language except for music, I mean, we had, there was like a Russian, German, French,
Wow.
Japanese, I
Hmm.
think that's here. So,
And so you have in this flute, clarinet, violin, cello, and piano.
correct.
And it goes on for about 17 minutes, but we're going to listen to about a minute and 48
This is,
seconds.
yeah, this is just an excerpt of the
Excellent.
end.
Okay, so here it is. Love it. Now, I have to ask you, Betty, I noticed that in your write-up, you say that sharing only the language of music, the first movement depicts the difficulty of performing as an ensemble. So did you kind of wrote into it that people were misconnecting and not quite getting it? That must have been fun to write
Yeah,
and to play and to listen
starts,
to.
that's it. I mean, so that like there are two movements where they're pairs,
Hmm.
and then the piano has just a short movement by itself.
Yeah, excellent. Very nice. Now, this next thing is also on the website, and it's called Experience, and that goes on for about 6 minutes. I think we're going to play a little bit of it and then cut into about the middle and play the last half, which has a lot of exciting movement to it. So, do you want to give us a little background on, because this was written after a traumatic experience? I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but there is obviously a lot of feeling in this. And so,
And, well, this is a very, well, we'll tell my age. This was written 50 years ago.
oh my God,
It
you
goes,
were you were 11 at the time,
yeah.
or
So,
five. You were five at the time.
so it's yeah. It was one of the first, probably, among the first pieces
Mm.
that I wrote. So,
And was it cathartic for you to help you just deal with whatever you were feeling or whatever you went through, that kind of thing?
well, that's what my music is,
Mm.
really. If
Yeah,
I, um, it can be happiness, it can be trauma, it can be,
yeah,
just any what I'm feeling. That's when I go to the piano,
yes.
and then that's when I write.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Okay, so this is experience. Wow. I like the way you push the limits of and how do you know where the limits are in an instrument? Do you have to look that up, or you just know from playing it a lot, or does someone come back and say, I can't play that? Or because I think that's one of the major challenges in orchestrating is that, every instrument has a different limit, you know.
Well, I do stretch the limits, but
Yeah,
it's you know, if if theoretically that can be played, I will.
you'll go there. I love it. So this is the last one that's an MP3 file. This is called Remembrance, and it's only about 2 minutes. Do you want to give us a little background on it?
Um, that was written. It's funny. It's another one where I was just playing.
Mm,
It wasn't written, like in memory of a particular person or anything.
hmm.
I was just playing, and that's what came out.
Oh, okay. So
That's another one that was just when I was playing at the piano. That's yeah.
excellent. Yeah, this is called Remembrance. Just beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. And I will say, Remembrance was the first piece I wrote with a key signature.
Oh, really?
It's actually in a key,
Oh, and
but
most of your stuff is not. It's more, yeah.
it's
By the
stand.
way, is there sheet music to that? I would love to learn to play that. Is there, can you buy the sheet music to that?
Do I what?
Can I buy the sheet music to that? Do
Oh,
you,
oh, yes.
yeah, that's
It's
wonderful.
actually with Connor's publication.
Okay.
So there's,
Is that on the website? Can I drill down and find it there? Or
uh,
wonderful.
yes, you should.
Hmm.
Uh,
Very nice.
I think, yeah, it's, yeah. And that one actually, I premiered that at one of the composer symposiums in France, the same ones.
Nice.
That, yeah.
Nice. Now, by the way, when you say things are played all over the world, is that you playing all the time, or are there other people playing your stuff as well, or how's that work?
This is other people playing. Yeah.
Nice. How do you get that to happen? How does that work?
Well, I was fortunate, like with Jerry Maestolfi. Uh,
Mm.
I entered something for I think this was SCI, Society of Composers.
Ah, uh-huh.
Uh, and she liked, I think it was this piece. Uh, and so that was when we first met. And then
Ah.
there was another piece like Toccata, she liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it worked out, got a grant, and she wanted to record the music, and so
I love
that's
it. That's great. And one thing leads to another. That's wonderful.
yeah.
So this next thing, and we're going to have to cut some of these pieces a little short because I want to get them all in. But this next one you had a lot of fun with, divertisement. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, sure. Now, this was written in a different way because this was a commissioned work.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was given the tune, which I later found out, uh, although it's some people know it as Oh Susanna, but I saw it on the Warner Brothers that it had been used as a victory song in
Oh,
World War
really?
II.
Oh,
And
no
so
kidding.
so I went and heard it on one of the Disney
Mm-hmm.
channels with singing those. It's like
Yes.
I think it was it, but Oh Susanna, don't cry for me. Something that
Yeah.
digging gold, V for victory. Yeah. So that's it. But this was written just this was work.
So the challenge was to take that piece and then write kind of
Very
a,
much.
yeah, excellent.
It,
Okay.
she wanted these for a Vimeo.
Hmm.
So it had to be exactly, a certain number of minutes, and
Mm-hmm.
it was around that.
All right. Well, here we go. I'm going to play this now. I'm not moving it. Just click. Oh, stop that there, only because I'd love to listen to all of it. But I wanted to ask you, yes, there's a lot of famous composers that have done variations, and I'm wondering if you have any favorites that you've loved to listen to, or how you were influenced by composers. Who are some of your favorite composers, would you say?
Oh gosh. Well, back to the old favorites, Bach and Beethoven,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the three Bs actually
Yes.
are ones that I like. When I go and just play things, I go through, and one of my favorite pieces just to play is like the Brahms Handel variations, uh,
Ah, uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
some, the Beethoven things, and anything by Bach.
I
I mean,
love it. I
I
love it.
just play through all of those. So not who you would traditionally think like something,
Yes, yeah. I thought you were going to say Bartok and
I
Shostakovich and
realized until my first lesson in college, I did not know 20th century music.
ah, uh-huh, uh-huh.
No, uh-uh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was all a learning curve for you. That basically, that you learned that academically, basically, it sounds like how that happened. Yeah, that's great. Now you have these two series, Night Vision 1 and Night Vision 2. Do you
Yeah.
want to give us a little backstory on those?
Yeah, there's a whole set. There's actually four
Oh,
night visions.
oh,
It's
okay.
a night vision suite. So, but this was a period of over about 2 weeks when we just had lots of rain. And we're not talking about little rain, we're talking about heavy storms. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
at the time, um, my house was surrounded by tall trees. We're talking 80 foot, and
Mm.
up. Uh, but they weren't very healthy.
Oh no. Oh God.
Yeah.
It was
And
going.
so then, as all of this is, the storm is coming,
Mm.
uh, and I'm hearing branches, some hitting up against the window sometimes, maybe on the roof. So in all of this, it was just, well, I should preface all of this with when it rains, I don't sleep. Rain keeps me awake.
Wow. Yeah. So you might as
So
well write.
so I got up and I would write what I'm hearing. My imagination is like, okay, going, when you hear the thunder, the lightning, or
I
things
love it.
hitting the window, that's it. So it's
Now, what I
just
love about these too is you have this audio, this a visual thing going on in the background too. How was that developed? Is that in concert with someone else, or did you put that together too, or you have
just
this?
put it together.
Okay, so this is Night Visions 1. I love the way you're telling a story. You're creating a whole scene here, and it's just wonderful. I'm going to skip ahead to Night Vision 2 now.
And even though the person who was videoing the performance, he just got her, but there also, when you'll see her look up, there were the photographs that went also along with this one.
With this one as well. Okay. Uh-huh. I'm going to now go to something completely different. Do you want to give us a little background on Requiem for Dreams? Because this is one that addresses domestic violence, and I think it's really very timely and important. And we can't
Right,
have all of it tonight because it goes on for about
right.
almost
This
17
was
minutes.
a commissioned work by
Mm,
Judith Bruno, the person who uh, is in the video,
yeah.
uh, and really thanks to Campbell University and all the sort of help support that,
Mm.
uh, the commission, that came from her. Uh, so, and I wrote the words as well as the music. So
Ah.
it was probably the toughest one to write of any
Mm,
piece I've ever done,
mm,
mainly because the words having to do that.
hmm.
That was really challenging, sort
Yeah.
of envisioning, what would go on. So if I understand correctly, you want to play the third and fourth. Okay.
Right.
So uh, this the third movement is when they've just gotten married, uh, and she starts out, with this, statement. Oh, it's like, what is it? Now we're, husband and wife, a happy life. We're partners. Well, Boy, that did it. He said, no, we're not partners, you know. It's like you're
Yeah.
my wife. In other words, it's a sudden realization that it's going to be different. So he considers, you know, it's just like she is his property.
And I saw that firsthand in one relationship, and it was just awful. They were very happy before the marriage, then afterwards his true colors showed, and that was really pretty scary. So the first two scenes, where she's happy and then she gets married, thinking she's happy, we're gonna skip those but they're very nicely done. And then we get into this part where, boom, the shoe drops. And so I'm gonna start there, and we're gonna skip ahead a little bit after that too, because there's a section at the end called "No More," where she really stands up for herself, and I think that's worth looking at. So without further ado, this is Requiem for Dreams.
The wedding day came and I was flying on a cloud. We said our vows to love each other as bells rang out loud. You're my husband, I'm your wife, partners for a happy life.
You're not my partner.
Am I your wife?
Of course.
Then we are partners.
No, you belong to me.
We belong to each other.
No, you belong to me.
Okay. I don't understand.
You're my wife. You belong to me.
Okay.
Say it like you mean it.
I belong to you. Bruising beatings, I can make it on my own. With God's help, His wisdom, guidance, with Him I'll not be alone. more struggles, no more strife, no more painful perils pending. Life together soon is ending. No, no more crushing, no more squeezing. Are you surprised that I'm still breathing? Help me, Lord, hear the scars, I pray. Light my path, show me the way. No more quivering, no more shivering. Fears and terror are dissembling. Fear no more. I'll fear no more. No more.
Ready? This is Wishart.
Very powerful. Wow. Wow. Ah. So there's one other piece I thought we played before the final prelude, a little bit of the oracles for flute and piano. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
For which one? The oracles? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this is performed by Max Lipschitz and Lisa Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. The second movement is extremely short. And that's because when I wrote it, I knew the first performance was to be at a conference where it would be played by a college student who was for the flute. The piano was fine, but it was the flute. Turns out, even though I made it very short, she only did the first and third movements. So,
Oh, okay.
and this is done by drill performers. So,
Okay. I'll stop it there, only because we're running out of time. This is one of my favorite preludes.
Yeah.
Um, so this is the Anna Pavlova one, and there are 8 of them, and 4 on your website.
The last prelude is in memory of Anna Pavlova, who was a Russian ballerina, most famous for her role in The Dying Swan. She was also noted for her work ethic. And I would like to share with you her mantra for the way to work. She says, quote, "God gives talent, work transforms talent into genius," close quote. Think of her as graceful, disciplined, and poetic.
Well, thank you so much for this time. I'd like to open up to the floor. If anyone wants to ask a question at this point, just please unmute yourself. And you have a live composer here in front of you, who, as you can see, is quite gifted and has a lot of works ahead. I want to encourage people to go to bettywishart.com and just listen to all this stuff. Just absolutely beautiful. And of course, you can buy the CDs too. And are you on Spotify? Do you know? Are you on?
Yes,
Yeah,
e-
also Spotify,
everything is on Spotify.
Pandora, probably, and all that stuff. So that's just wonderful. Yeah. So any questions before we wrap it up? I know we have a couple of composers out there in the audience.
Oh dear.
Well, Betty, I just am so happy that we crossed paths. I forget how I actually met you. Was it through, did I see you on Facebook, or was it maybe through a friend?
It
Um,
was through, I think well, if I tell you the person's name, or I think it was, okay,
Diane
it was
Davies,
out
maybe?
from Oregon, Diane Day.
Diane Davies, yes, yes, who I interviewed a while back. Yeah.
And
Oh, I'm
so,
so glad that I got to meet you through this connection. That's just wonderful. And
and
so,
her student had played Remembrance, and that's the way we,
oh, okay, excellent. Well, by the way, I do want to buy your Toccata 2. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to play it, but this looks like a challenging, fun one. And I do want to buy that. Was it Remember? It's just really beautiful, just very nice. So look forward to learning those. And just want to ask everyone to please look out for the next show. I'm actually interviewing someone next week, Dee Dee Stewart. So I'm starting to do these almost on a weekly basis. And then on May 9th, I'm interviewing Paul Avgerinos, who is a 3-time Grammy winner. And in fact, one of the pieces he wrote was embraced by Amazon as a meditative piece, and he gets 10 million hits a month on it. So he was kind of surprised that it even happened. But Betty, this was just wonderful. I love the music. I love everything that you played here today that we played. I will fix the missing videos on the archive, so it'll be up there. And I wish you all a good night. Thank you all for coming. Hope to see you again. And please go to bettywishart.com and listen to more of our music, beautiful music. Have a great
thank
night,
you.
everyone. Thanks so much.